I built my clients their entire funnel, their landing page, their sales script live on the sales call before we even hang up. I've closed more than 300 people this way that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and I've trained my closers on my team to do the exact same thing. You can think of it as me building their own words while they're still talking, and no one in the market is doing it exactly like I'm going to be showing to you today. And this is what I call new age selling. It's selling that is on a different level. It's not consulting selling. It's not you just talking with them and giving them the solution to their constraints. It's going the extra mile in over delivering. And the calls where someone actually shows up close at 80%. Yes, 80%, because they're not listening to me promising I'll do the work. They are watching me do the thing that I'm actually telling them that I'm going to be doing. So let me show you exactly how we are doing this, because as I said, we are building everything for them right on the call. Now, again, there is a risk attached to this, which I'll get into in just a second, because there's a risk attached to someone taking that specific thing that you've built for them and then going away and walking away with it and trying to do it themselves. But we got to understand, the first reason why someone came on the call is probably, most of the times, if you're in a sophisticated B2B market or even unsophisticated B2B market, is because they're looking for a specific solution, whether that be to get more clients, get more employees, get more leads for their business. Overall, just growth is what they're looking for, right? So what we got to understand is that the best way to actually showcase your value is not by you just saying that you do specific things or you can help them do specific things in your pitch. It's actually showcasing them that you know how to solve it live there on the call. Now, of course, we're not at that stage yet where you can just launch a funnel and then pretty much also the ads and then get them leads within the call as well. But this is what I'm thinking that sales is going to, because sales is becoming more and more commoditized. I am doing this actual work for them live before they even paid me anything, because then they see the competence instead of hearing about it. And this way I close at 80% instead of me just saying, oh, I'm going to, do the traditional introduction, build, go through the discovery phase, then go through the emotional phase, logical phase, pitch phase, and then close phase, and then handle objection phase. I'm going to go through a route which is going to give me so much leverage, so much authority, that by the end of the call, they're going to say, Stefan, I know you're competent to do this. And if they're already convinced on pretty much the offer and the pricing and they have the budget, then there's no reason why they would not get started with me, because they've seen that I can actually deliver on what I'm speaking about. And this is what I think most people in the market currently miss out on. I've been on sales calls where someone tries to pitch me and I give them feedback in a sense that they didn't make it as verbal to me or clear to me or visual to me in terms of what they are going to be doing. Because again, you got to understand, in B2B, they can tell when you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I can smell if you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so that's why most calls won't close. The person across from you is sophisticated. Now, they already know a lot. Even in B2C markets, I would go as far as saying that within now and the next 2, 3, 4 years, if you don't adjust your sales and the way that you're doing sales in the market, you are actually going to be run over by people that are going to be knowing how to do these things more quickly and more efficiently than you. So you cannot go in and close people like a regular salesperson anymore. Times are changing. Things are evolving. AI is getting more dominant day by day. And if you don't evolve, what is going to happen is AI is going to pretty much dominate you, and the people are going to actually run over you when they get on a sales call, because they're going to know more things, right? When people know more things, what do you got to do? Well, you got to give them a different thing that has been happening before. So again, don't get me wrong. The second they feel that you've lost them, pretty much it comes down to you only doing what you've been used to, hearing from people like Grant Cardone, Jordan Belfort, Jeremy Miner, all these people, or Andy Elliott. It is sales that is done in a traditional level. Again, depending on your market, the market wants something that can tie into 3 specific things, and I'll get into that in just a second. What that means is that they want not only something visual these days, they want something auditory, they want something visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. If we can combine to those 3 things, we are going to increase the conversion on our sales calls. Now, what sales actually is I think something completely misunderstood by a lot of people. People think it's me sitting on a call trying to close this person and get him to buy my service or product. Well, it's not exactly that. Sales is not that. Sales is actually you understanding the other person. It's understanding where they're coming from and where they want to go. Where do they want to go? What is their current situation where they want to go to? And then from there on out, we want to find the middle ground solution to their problem, because that gap that they have in between the current situation and desired situation is that they want to bridge this. Whenever they want to bridge that, it means that they want to potentially pay for it, because the pain of not being here or the speed of wanting to get here is high enough, if it is high enough for your audience, that they want to put money down in order to get help from someone to get to this point, right? It's the same transaction as would happen if I were to go to the supermarket, right? I want to buy a bottle of water. Well, my current situation is that I'm thirsty, and the desired situation is that I, don't have water. So the gap here is that I would pay for me to get speed on water so I can quench my thirst. Makes sense, right? So that's the same thing in sales. It's always a supply and demand. It's always your solution to their current situation to go to their desired situation. That's the only thing that bottles down to sales. Now, there are nuances in this, because if you can't build a connection while you do that, you lose the sale. And these days, if you not only cannot get a connection with someone, it also comes down to if you cannot over deliver to someone on the call compared to the competitors or other people in the market, you're going to be, again, said no to. You're going to get objections. You're going to get people saying, no, I don't want to work with you. Price is too high, all these things. Why? Because, well, you haven't convinced them on a visual aspect of things. People only think that verbally you can do it. Well, again, it really ties down to what you're selling. In our space and what we're selling, and probably yourself as well, we're not selling bottles of water. So we're not selling people that are thirsty maybe right now. Maybe they're thirsty in 2 months, right? Maybe they want your service in 2 months. But the key thing is getting that 2 months down to 1 month or 1 week or today by actually utilizing these things, because maybe you are getting people that are maybe warm or actually like colder these days than people before that you got that were warmer, right? So what we want to do is want to make sure that once we start talking to the audience and start talking to them on sales calls, we over deliver in a way that they've never seen before, right? So whilst I can go through 3 supermarkets that have water, and my urgency would be high, I might really care about, like, okay, the if I have to compare the price, the speed, and the person who has over-delivered on me, who has given me the best connection and over-delivered on showcasing me why that water is the best water and what they can actually do to me, right? Like in terms of like me taking the water and how I would feel once I've taken it. So the leverage comes down from you understanding the numbers, because if you do the same calls with the same ad spend or the same outreach, costs that you have, if you're doing email or anything else, in just a better close rate, you would almost, 0.1x your entire revenue that you would do on a monthly basis. So right now, let's say you have 100 calls. You get 100 calls. Of those 100 calls that you take, so you would have a 20% close rate. That would equal 20 clients. Let's say that your price point is at 5K, just hypothetically speaking, might be lower, but whatever. Then we would get 100,000 euros a month out of that. Now, if we only fix the close rate, which is what we're talking about today, at a 30% close rate with the exact same amount of calls, right? You would close 30 clients at the same price point. You would do 150K a month. That would be a 50K extra added to your business. Now, you wouldn't have more leads, you wouldn't have more ad spend, you wouldn't have more calls, but that's still a 50K plus a month or 600,000 a year. So what does that say? It says that we can use leverage if we improve one specific thing within our business to utilize that to actually grow our business to the next level. Now, if you fix these things, and of course, mainly on this channel, we're talking about calls, we're talking about, how to get more clients through ads, but also we're talking about sales, because sales is the number one thing that will attribute to your revenue growing. If you don't fix the sales, well, guess what? All the other things are just a side thing. It really doesn't matter. If your sales is not at the next level, you will actually lose more money than if you were to fix the sales. So the way that we fix that, the way that we increase the close rate, is not just by you being better at communication, you being better at listening to people, all these things, which I'll get into. The main thing, the most important thing, is that you need to have a reverse sales framework. Now, this is where you come in as their best friend of years and years that they've known. Not a salesperson, not a consultant, not a researcher. You need to get to know their whole industry, and you get to know their whole industry live within a few minutes. I'm going to show you this live. I'm going to practice what I'm preaching. Again, I'm not just going to talk to you. I'm going to show you. When you understand them to their core, the pitch gets easy. So this is how it actually works. There's 2 moves. Both happen while you're still on the call. The first one is you build a connection so deep that they feel you understand them to their core. They feel you understanding them to a degree that no one else has understood them. And you're going to be hearing things that they're going to be saying as, you really understood my situation. Not only did you offer me a great connection, now I feel, heard by you. Also, what you did is you over-delivered to me. You've actually shown me what no one else has been able to do. These are the things that I'm hearing on calls. And this is the way that we're doing it. I'm listening well. Whilst I'm listening well, I'm finding resources for them. And whilst I'm presenting the solution, I am building the solution for them. Does that make sense? So we do two things at the same time. Why? Because we gotta know how to become quicker in the way that we are doing our calls. Okay, the only way to do that is by you improving what I'm talking about today. So before we dive in, and before I show you the exact thing how I'm going to do this, because I'm showing you this live, want to see how this is run on a real call and not explained by me on a video, because again, I've had time to prepare these things. So if you want to see it live on a call, what I'm going to tell you, let's get on a call with you, show you exactly how we do this live and get it ready for you. And then you decide what you want to do with it, whether walk, away with it yourself or get it going from, pretty much what we do. So click on the link down below, apply through a link in the description. If it's a good fit, we get on a call and show you on this live. Now, again, the first part, the first move is building the connection. Now, what you got to know, and maybe you already know, maybe you don't, is something called LSD. And no, I'm not talking about the thing that people use to get crazy. I'm talking about LSD, called listening, summarizing, and deepening. This is you showing people how you understand them. LSD is something that is very, very much used in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So the way that it is being used is by you really truly listening to what someone is saying and really being in the moment, summarizing pretty much what they've said once they've said it. And you always give someone 3 to 5 seconds before giving a response, because they might give another thing to you which could be crucial to you actually summarizing and deepening the question after that. Once you have summarized pretty much the thing that they've said, then you want to deepen it. So you want to deepen a question pretty much with, for example, as someone would say, a follow-up question on why they would do that or how the solution would be to that. So we don't give a solution immediately, we deepen with questioning. Let me give you an example. So let's say, for example, we have a conversation, right? I'm listening to what you're saying. And then I summarize. So I say, for example, okay, John, so I completely understand you got a construction, marketing agency. You just told me that you currently do 20K a month. You have 4 team members. You are using AI, but you want to get more better leads. You've had other marketing experiences before, and you've spent about 2,000 with them in the last 30 days, but you've gotten only, I would say, 3,000 in return in the ads. Would you say that that is correct, John, and that I summarized it correctly? Okay, yeah, okay. So I got confirmation on the summarizing. Now let me ask you a question, John, on top of that, what you were saying. So to give me more clarity, what was the main reason you actually started with that company in the first place, so I get a better idea in the reasoning why you actually started with someone and, pretty much went ahead with them and had the confidence to actually get things going with them. So this is a deepening question on his decision-making process, which will give me a better understanding on his decision-making process with me at the end, whilst I'm doing the pitch or after I've done the pitch, right, to close him. So once I've done these things, I want to get into something specific. So whilst he is saying it again, so very clearly, I'm listening, summarizing, deepening. Once he is explaining everything to me again with that deepening question, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding something else as well in it, which is called AI. So I will listen, I will summarize with AI, and then I will deepen. So while I summarize what they said, I'm prompting based on what they're saying. Let me give you an example. So again, I've told you I'm going to do it live so you can pretty much understand how I do this. So let's say, for example, I go to ChatGPT, because in my opinion, ChatGPT is one of the main reasons why pretty much I have like information-based things as good as I can. Because on chat, I can use information way easier. I can use information so much easier than using it on, for example, Claude Code, that by the time that I actually get it set up, already I'm going to be getting answers. And I want to put the instant response time on pretty much chat. And I want that to be something where I can use it in a way that is going to be super easy for me to actually have and utilize on that behalf. So for example, you can choose the intelligence level, right? I'm going to choose the instant level. So let's say I'm talking with John again. Think of that again, what I was just saying. So let's say I'm talking with John and John just told me that. So I'm going to say, whilst I'm talking, I'm doing this. Okay, John, so I completely understand. So you just told me that pretty much you are right now, working with construction marketing agencies, right? You have a construction marketing agency. You work with businesses that have less, between 2 to 5 employees. That is correct, right? Yeah, that's correct. And yeah, just wanted to add to that as well. Pretty much right now that we have like a lot of team members, but it's been you know, it's been a hassle pretty much in terms of like where we've been trying to get so many leads, but it's been a hassle. And we work with a marketing agency, but it didn't get any results. Gotcha, John. Gotcha. Okay. And so you said you got leads, right? So just for my understanding, summarizing, right? You got how many leads did you get? Well, we got about like you say like 30 leads. Okay, 30 leads. Got it. I'm just noting down everything, John, just for my information. Okay, 30 leads. And how many calls did you get? Oh, I got like 7 calls. Okay, got it. And how many clients did you get? Oh, I got like 2 clients. Okay, and then like 1 in the pipeline. Okay, and okay, so and John, just for my understanding as well, help me as well understand why you made a decision pretty much with them. Well, I made a decision because I wanted to have a company that can do that for him because he doesn't have time. He wants someone to actually take care of that. And but he's now looking for something. You're looking for something. I'm looking for something pretty much that can be stable, and instead of like fluctuating like every single time. Okay, so if I understand correctly, you were fluctuating pretty much on everything that you were doing, and it was not ideal in the sense of that you didn't get what you expected, right? What were your expectations actually? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? So expectations were that I would get, like between like 10 to 15K added in 2 months time, which would equal, for example, me getting 50 leads, 15 calls, and let's say 5 clients out of that. That would really bump it up on that. Okay. And so, understanding, John, pretty much where you're coming from and everything, when it comes down to you, um, now, pretty much, assessing everything that we've talking about, what would you say that would be, your main reason for wanting to work with the company again? Because I can understand that your results weren't optimal, but um, and pretty much, how would you go from here? Like, what are you exactly looking for? Just to give me a little bit of an idea, um, so I can pretty much, you know, see if it would even make sense for me to tell you a little bit more about what it is that we do. Got it. Okay. You see what I'm doing here? I'm live doing this. Okay. So again, in a call, while I'm talking with someone, I'm typing everything that they're saying. Now, again, this was a tougher example to give because I'm thinking what I'm going to tell to you guys, and I'm going to also do it here. But on a sales call, I'm just fully locked in on the sales call, and everything that they're saying, I pretty much, what I do is I have 2 tabs open like this. So I have Zoom open, right? On the right hand side, I have Zoom open like this is Zoom. And on the left side, I have ChatGPT open, for example, right? And then on the back end, I have Claude Code open as well, right? So I have everything open. So what does that mean? Well, it means that once he's talking, I can summarize with information and go back and forward with him. I can actually go ahead and say, okay, what was that? What was, just to go back, John, what was the most frustrating part of that experience for you, right? And then he answers. And then I say, for example, okay, so it sounds like it wasn't even only about the results. It was more that you felt you still had to manage everything yourself. Was that correct? Okay. And then when you originally hired that agency, what were you expecting them to actually get off your plate, right? If he says everything, then you say, when you say everything, what does that include? What is that? What is everything, right? And then goes the deepening question. And you mentioned you'd like another, 10 to 15K over the next, months. Why is that number important to you specifically, right? And then again, the business question, if 6 months from now nothing happens and you're relying on inconsistent lead flow, what does that mean for your business? So here's where I use LSD to actually deepen the connection. Why? Because, well, he feels that I'm actually listening to him, which is what I'm doing as well. I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm summarizing what he's saying to me, so I can give him a clear cut pitch, which then I can show how I would actually do it, so he gets the trust with me even more. Makes sense, right? So again, all of these things, I would go very deep, and also, for example, asking him, what are you expecting to get now, John? What were you expecting to get out of this conversation today? Do you want to go the route again of, someone managing it for you, or do you want to start understanding it yourself? If he says, I want to start understanding it myself, okay, then I can look at a done with you option with you. If he says, I don't want that, I want to still be, have someone do it because I don't have the time, I can look at a done for you, or maybe a done with you, done for you hybrid for you, John. Right? So I find a solution tailored to what this person thinks he needs. And I find a middle ground between what I can offer him within my offerings. Right? So again, Getting back to the point, what the main thing is that we are going to be looking at, right? And the main thing that we're going to be doing, if we get back to this, everything that I was just telling you, it actually happens from the point that we start building the connection. Because when we build a connection, the lead understands that we actually have full control over the call. We know what we're doing. We are here to not only listen to you, consult you, help you. We are here to really, really give you something that you need and tailor it towards you, and then tailor it in showcasing you that we are competent enough to be able to do it. So that's move one. Now the timing is that the summarizing gives me 30 seconds to prompt in chat, as you saw. Whilst he is typing, you should always, as a salesperson, take notes. Always. Now, I love taking notes digitally because it's way quicker. Me writing it down and then having to look it up, it sucks. For me, it's not nice. I like to just put all my notes down and type it in. Preferably, I do it in ChatGPT, and then I take that and I put it in my CRM. We have a specific tailored CRM, a custom CRM that we use, where we put everything in. And this is a CRM that you've never seen before. This is something that we've only had in our company, which will only come for people that are in our blueprint programs. Again, I digress. So getting back to what I was saying, the main thing that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at putting that information. We got to get some information. Now, there are tools like Otter AI and Phantom, of course, that we use where you can put, you can get live transcripts pretty much from the people. So you can copy that and then put it in chat. Now, again, this is not only helping you on preparing on the connection side of things by summarizing with LSD, but it's also going to be helping you when you want to handle objections. I see so many people struggle handling objections when I'm thinking to myself, why don't you use AI live to handle objections? If someone says something to you, type it in AI, look at the answer, think of a better answer, and then formulate it to the client. That's what I'm saying. When you got to use AI to your advantage, if you're not using it these days, you're going to walk behind, because closers that are doing that, they're going to be way smarter on these calls. They're going to be handling all these people with ease when you're still struggling. So again, I'm summarizing in 30 seconds, maybe even less. I repeat back what they already said. It buys me time. I use chat, as I said, mainly because it's higher on information and better on information. And I'll prompt it 10, 15, 20. Sometimes I've even had calls where I prompted 50 times. Believe it or not, because on the discovery side, I want to get so deep with them. I want to get to the root things. Why are you actually here on this call? Why is it important to you to get to that point, to the desired situation? Why is it that you want to get there? And then you've reached it, and then what? And then when you've reached that, and then what? What is the main thing? So by the time that you actually come to the next phase, which could be your pitch and getting consent to do your pitch, which you should always do, by the way, then you've already built this entire connection with this person. They would feel like you are their best friend pretty much, which comes down to a lot of different things. But again, this is the main thing, the core thing, why it works so well. So a real example is, again, let's say the guy is selling cat coaching, or right, to women in China. Again, a very random thing, right? So for example, his people that he wants to target, his audience, his ICP, are women between the ages of 25 to 55, who want their cats less anxious and happier. Now, I know nothing about it, right? But while he talks, I'm prompting, and it comes back in a few words. So they see their cats as family and as children. So he says that. So then I'm prompting once he's saying that, like, okay, I'm in a closing call with a Chinese info product owner helping women 25 to 55 get their cats less anxious. Position yourself as a master in this space who's done trillions in it. What do these women feel about their cats? So I get to understand these things. Now, again, what can I say as well? I can say, look up 3 competitors that are doing the same thing as this person worldwide. Find them. And then they find them, and then I go to their website and I say, did you ever think of doing something like this? And then they say, how do you know that? And I'm like, done some research, came prepared. I'm a professional salesperson. You're not going to talk with me if I'm not prepared. That doesn't make sense. You come here to find a solution. I'm here to help you, So again, this is the thing that we're doing. This is the level of research that we're doing on a call. We're not just taking the call and, let me close a client, get 3K, 5K, 10K, 15K, whatever it is pretty much that you are going to do. No, we try to go to the extent of actually doing some work, because we can get very lazy when it comes down to actually helping people, but you're going to get commoditized. You're going to become someone that they're not going to join with, or at least it's going to impact your closing rate to a degree. And even if your closing is 5% less and you close less, it's already impacting, right? So again, keep this in mind when it comes to this. And the reason why this works, just to summarize it, is that by the end, he thinks, I've got 20 cats at home. It does make sense, right? I look him straight in the eyes and I'm like, and feed it back to his words. So these women see their cats almost as family, right? Would you agree? It's like, yeah, of course. And that yes is that micro commitment that I get him on a deeper level. The more micro commitments you can get during the call, even in the beginning, in a call would be a frame, for example. You could say, I would love to get to know a little bit more about your business, ask you a little bit of questions, have a great conversation with you, see what it is that you do, see what the constraints are, see what the solution is, see if we can help you and show you potentially what we could do on that route. Does that sound good to you? Yes. Boom. That yes is a micro commitment. And I want those micro commitments during the call. If I'm not getting micro commitments, I'm taking steps back. Now, I've had some calls with people that have very high egos, very high, and they have very high, very tough agreement, ways of agreeing with someone. Now, these types of people, I can already tell they're not good salespeople, because people that are tough to agree with a lot of times are people that are usually, not always, usually more tougher to get on a close. People that are more agreeable are easier to get on a close because they're more agreeable. They say yes, and it makes sense to them, right? So again, once he believes I can step into his position, he believes I can solve it. And then comes the second part, actually me showing it, right? So when I over-deliver live, I stop talking about the solution. I don't say the solution. So what I actually say is I say, I'm going to build you the solution. Or I pull up something and I say, I already made it. So let me give you an example. So when I move into the pitch, I open something called Gamma or Claude. I personally like Gamma more, and I take everything in terms of like Gamma. It's way easier, right, for me, in my opinion. So what I do is I tell Gamma. So for example, whilst I'm active here, right, I'll tell Gamma to build their VSL on our framework, right? So that means we're going to do hook, disqualify the audience, social proof their problems, the layers of the solution. That's it. That's our main framework that we're going to be using. So what I would do is I would take this framework, right? I would take this. I would go to Gamma. You can see we've already have a lot of presentations here. So Gamma is pretty much a presentation tool. I'm going to do create new, generate. Now I can do the same thing in Claude Code. Again, I'm not trying to overcomplicate things here. You can do both in the same. I just like Gamma more. I don't know. It's just nicer or something. I like it way more. So I'm going to make 15 cards. I'm going to go back to chat. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to tell it, I am live in a call right now with John, and figured he is working with this niche. Build me a 15 slide Gamma presentation to create and show this for him. So I do this, I grab these things, and then what I do is actually go ahead and I take all the information that he told me. So I told you as well, so let's say, for example, let's hypothetically say that he got like, that this is his niche, right? Like this is what he does. I go back to chat, I put this in, and I want pretty much a 15 slide thing to be given from chat. Now, because this is instant, again, it's very quick, so I don't have to wait. I'm not waiting on the higher intelligence route. I'm doing it very quickly, and then I'm taking that already and then putting that in Gamma. So whilst he's talking, right, I would already go ahead and pretty much make it for him. So what I would do now is I would say, so make it towards him in second person, but towards his market. So in the VSL framework, it's a VSL for his audience. So we can't mention things about VSL. We need to be the cat expert helping the audience, if that makes sense, right? So I make it again really quickly, because if I see that the prompt generated is not good, I prompt it again, boom, 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 quick. And whilst I'm doing this, I'm talking with John. I'm saying, John, okay, so tell me a little bit, John, hey, let me take a step back. Tell me a little bit more about this. And then he says that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And whilst he's saying that, I'm typing. I'm listening, but I'm typing. So here are the slides. I take the slides, all right? So these are 15 slides. So I take this, whilst he's talking, I go to Gamma, I type this in. I do edit prompt on Gamma. That's it. Once it is editing the prompt, because Gamma needs to make it good, I can make it in his style. So let's say, for example, that I type in cat coaching. I have his website, for example, right? I type in cat coaching, or let's say, for example, cat coach program, and he has for example, a website, right? He has I don't know, like a tailored website or something like that. And I see some colors or whatever. I could make a screenshot of this, like of these colors. And I could tell also Gamma, I could put it in Gamma, and I could say, I want these colors, right? I want these colors to be added. And then I put it pretty much in here. right? So I save this really quick whilst this is happening. So again, all these things, as you can see, I'm doing I'm doing a lot of things, right? Like I'm doing gamma, I'm doing chat, I'm doing all those things. But again, I need to over deliver. I need to make sure that I am showing him something that he's never seen before. So again, this might take some getting used to you. Again, sometimes the gamma doesn't want to work with me. I put it in here. So I take this, I make sure to choose a specific theme very quickly that would align with him, or I choose a like this one, for example, or like a different one. I make this one, or maybe like a blue one, right? For example, that it's kind of the same with one that I was just sharing with you. I would do that. I would do pictures and I would make every single one like visual, right? So for example, I would generate it. I would choose the English language, of course, if he's in English. I would make it 15 cards and Gemma would start generating it. So whilst I'm on the call, I'm doing all of these things. And then what happens is whilst we're talking and he's talking, I'm like, okay, so Job, let me be very clear with you. So I think we can help you. Now, let me be very honest with you. Whilst you were talking, what I actually already did is I built you already a presentation that you can be presenting to your audience. This is how the presentation looks, John, and this is how it actually works. So you would start the video with, for example, your cat isn't being difficult. She's trying to tell you something. Discovered by even loving cat owners unknowingly creates stress. Boom. And I've taken also a level further is I take the full transcript of the call. All right. So I take my note taker out. I put it in chat with the full transcript, and then I pretty much go ahead and put it back in. So for example, I would take the entire transcript of a call, because if you use Fathom Note Taker, you would use the entire like call. So for example, I would take the entire transcript, put that in ChatGPT, and then do that and then prompt Gamma with that, because it gives me exactly the things that he said, right? So imagine you making something live that he already just said like 2 minutes ago. This is a shock factor to people. It's sales on a different level. It resonates with them to a different level. It's a different extent. And the only way that you do this, you can see here, this is how the presentation is made. Now again, keep in mind, I didn't even put the transcript of a call pretty much in, but I would do that and then make the presentation and then show it to them. Now the same way that I would do this, I would take this entire thing and I would pretty much go to chat and I could say, now give me the full Claude Code prompt so I can build a full landing page for him to show this to him as well. I tell it to do it in Claude Code. It gives me the prompt. Boom. It gives me a full prompt. I give the context. I give everything. Now, whilst I'm sharing this with him, he's like, wow, how did you do that? And all these things. I'm like, yeah, I did it, But instead of them going too deep on like the context of what I did and how I did it and whatever, I just show it to them. I don't tell them how I did it, right? I show it to them because he cares about the result. So again, I could do the same with a landing page. I could do the same with something else, right? A sales script or whatever you think of, we can already make it. A dashboard, we can make it. So again, the key here is me positioning something and showing him what my solution would be whilst he has actually built a connection with me. Does that make sense? So when I make these things, this then becomes part of my pitch, because in my pitch, I'm going to like, what's better than me telling him about what we do? Well, it's me showing him that we can do it. Well, that's that thing. And then after that, I go to my pitch. So I tell him, this is what we do. These are the deliverables. And I tie those deliverables exactly into what he actually wanted. And what comes out of that is pretty much usually a presentation. So for example, what we do is we make presentations, for example, for businesses, which can look like this. These are full presentations that we have for people that we make live on the call. Once we're on the call, we make this, we show that to them, and we pretty much talk about the program that we have and what direction we can take. So again, once we've done that and we've taken it, I can go ahead and go to Claude and I can tell Claude, you know what? Just make me like a full page, build a complete premium landing page, do it in this way, set it up in this way, get it going, get it live. Now, Claude, depending on how you prompt it, I have mine on high, so it's going to take a little bit more time to do. But again, you can make it quicker as well if you do the prompting pretty much on a lower effort. And then from there on out, have it in a way set up so it can pretty much generate the result way quicker, right? So again, getting back to my point, I digress completely because as you can see, I love this because it's such a different level of sales. And people forget this. They say, well, you don't need that. You don't need to go that complicated. Well, you don't, but again, why not go the extent? Why not go a different level? Why not increase the level and do some work for a client? Why not go to the extent of actually over-delivering to someone on the call? And then worst case scenario, they don't work with you. They at least have something. You can give them something. You over-deliver to them. I am getting sick and tired of this market becoming lazy. People are becoming lazy. And the only way to get results is to become better at getting results live on a call. And then when they join, imagine what I'm going to do when I already did this for you on a sales call live. So again, marketing is getting, people are putting more time and money and energy on marketing, but on the deliverables, they're not. And this is one of the ways that we tie those things in together to show people that we're not going to burn them with what they've already done before. We're going to show them something that is actually way better. So again, as I said, like, I will build these things. I will build the gamma slides, 15 to 20 slides, as you just saw. I pull the call transcript and feed their own words back to them in a positive way because I want to help them and show them that I'm the right person that knows what they do. And if I can already do these things, well, guess what? I understand your business. I understand what you do. I understand what you need, right? So I take Fathom out of the call for a second, or other AI, grab the transcript, put it in Claude, tell it to write the VSL from everything they just told me. Then I put the recorder back in and keep the meeting going so I get all the other information as well, so I can send them the call recording in 2 parts. I do the same in Lovable or Claude Code to build their whole website from the transcript. I build a website in Lovable. I actually started using more Claude Code, to be honest. So Lovable, it's, in my opinion, Claude is on a different level. It's built in their own words, so it lands very, very hard to them, okay? So again, why it converts? Well, anyone can say they over-deliver. They can say, yeah, well, we're different. Yeah, well, we're better. Yeah, well, because we do this and that. Show it. Do it before someone pays. Don't be lazy. Don't only want money. Be more proactive. So it's more powerful to do it than to talk about it. If I go to someone and someone is like, and I want to buy, for example, like, I want to buy an internet connection, and one person is only talking to me, the other person is showing me how it actually works better, and he says, you know what, here's 2 internet connections, here's a speed test on both internet connections. You want speed, right? This one, look at how quick it goes. Boom, speed test, boom, speed test. Look at who's quicker. This one quicker, this one slower. You see it? It's proof that it works. The other person was just yapping, just talking. I don't trust that. People are more visual when it comes down to comparing things, where the market is more sophisticated and there's more demand, right? There's more demand, but there's higher supply. When there's higher supply than the demand, markets become sophisticated. People start comparing things, and you need to do things like this, okay? But now you have it. So again, it's more powerful to do it than to talk about it. Keep that in mind. It's always more powerful. They could take it and run with it. I really don't care. I really don't care. If someone wants to do that and take it away and do all the hard effort that I've put into them in the call, whatever. I really don't care about it. I could care less, because on the people who show up, this converts at 80% plus. So that 10, 20% that does that, I really couldn't care less, okay? So this is exactly what we do with our clients. We don't just talk about it. We get on a call and build it with them. So it's why people who get on a call with us show up already sold. And you can use this to your advantage whilst you're on calls. This is the sales that you need to be doing. This is the easy sales, but you need to become better at this, be better at using AI, better at understanding how to do this quickly. Maybe the objection that you're having is like, won't they think it's just rushed AI, AI that I just put up very quickly? Well, again, we're going to take Claude Code here again. Claude is now making all of this making the structures, taking a little bit of time. So you'll see it could look a little bit rushed. Well, yeah, but that's not the point. In B2B, they're sophisticated and it works in your favor. The point is, rather than you doing something, telling something to them, the point here is that you have shown something live on a call tailored to their situation. That is the point here. It's not about it being perfect or well knit, or, of course, something that you build very quickly is not going to be as perfect as something that you took a lot of time for. But that taking a lot of time for is what they're going to pay for. But that you give them a snippet. It's comparable to an audit. You give them an audit. They don't have to pay. You just give them an audit. That's it. That's kind of like this, right? So the point is the gesture, that you can make something this close in minutes. That's the point. And if they push, you say, yeah, I just wanted to show you the competence. I'm not saying it was going to be perfect. I only wanted to over-deliver for you to show you what we can do based on what you were saying. Now, we make it great if you are, pretty much a good fit with what we do, because it still needs a human touch. And that's what we're going to be doing. That's what you would pay us for. That's it. So if they haven't paid, it can be at the level it should be at. Of course, that makes sense. You cannot get the full thing if you haven't paid, right? So that's very important to understand. And the part that everyone misses is that you built the connection on the call, not after it. The connection can be built after, right? On the follow-up until the second call or whatever. But it's easy to do it after the call and check everything, but that's too late. Then you have the time. It's how you use AI, not whether you use it. Everyone uses it, but it's how you use it. Anyone can use chat, Claude, whatever, right? It's about how practically you use it to improve everything that you're doing, to increase the result during the moments that you are in, and using it to your advantage and for your clients their advantage. That's what it's all about. So, how do you get good at this? Now, you won't nail this the first time you try it. Heck, I didn't even nail it the first 10, 20, 40, 50 times I did it. But you need to role play it 30 minutes a day, which is what we do in our community. We link you with an accountability partner. They pretty much get linked up to someone like you where you can try it. And the way that we do it with every closer on our team, that's the way that we do it. They practice it. They do it live with me. I show it live to them, and then we handle it that way. So you have to become competent on the action, on actually executing it, because this will save you so much time overall in improving your sales for your business. And it's a skill on the back end. Again, it's a skill in you learning how to use AI as efficient and as good as possible. You only get good by doing it. That's the only thing. A skill is not built in one day. It's built by you doing it consistently over a period of time. Okay? So, the recap: connection, live, work done, live. Both before they pay. You have the connection, you have the work done. You already prepared everything, right? So especially in my niche, again, maybe you're thinking like, how do I do this for construction businesses? Well, it's the same thing. Figure out the one thing that they need, give that to them. If it's, for example, a different type of niche of the clinics, beauty salons, figure out the thing they want, give that to them, right? For example, even with Claude, you can go even as far as doing this. If they have an appointment service, a service that is booking appointments, you can build one with Claude within 30 minutes and give that to them and show that to them, right? Now, again, it's taking a little bit more time, but it depends on how quickly and good you want to have it done. So, move one is you use AI to connect so they feel understood to their core. That's how we started. We want to make sure that they have a good understanding that we know what we're talking about. The only way to do that is to build a true human connection, but using AI to your advantage to understand them better. That is the reason why even in niches that I don't know nothing about, like cats in China or whatever, I would still be able to talk to this person and connect with them than anyone else in the market ever could do. Because they might have had a feeling that someone just wanted to close them, didn't understand their situation, didn't want to understand their situation. I don't do that. I really, truly care about people. I want them to actually understand me to understand what they need so I can help them move in the right direction, see if it's even the right fit. I don't want them joining me if they're not the right fit, but I'll do my best to understand them as good as I can. So that's move one. Move two is you build the actual thing for them from their own words. So again, look what I built. This is going to be Claude. I'm going to allow these things and hopefully it will finish it whilst we're on this pretty much session. But again, it's working here on that thing that we said. The thing will be me actually helping you with the words that you said, so I can build you something that is tailored towards you. So again, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be listening to you. I'm going to be understanding where you're coming from. I'm going to be understanding what you need. I'm going to be understanding. I'm just allowing Claude here very quickly to see if he can make the thing for us, and then give it to me so I can actually show it to you and show you what it needs to be done pretty much for you to get the results. Okay, so again, what I would want to do is I would want to make sure that you have both. You have the connection with me, you have a clear indication that I know what I'm talking about, and that I've actually over-delivered for you and built the thing that you want. Now, again, for a product, it's different, but for us, it's going to be a service. With a service, when you provide it, it's going to be something that you can already showcase. Even if it's a construction business itself, they can make a 3D model with Claude, you can make it, and then show it to them how they can show it to their clients. Boom, over-delivered. Find that value that you can give. And when you give that value, it's going to be something so easy that you're going to have a walk in a park session with them pretty much. So it's going to be easily set up in a way that they're going to be understanding that you have provided value to them. Now, all of this is being done on the call, and then you drill it every single day. Every single day you try it, you do it, you set it up in a way to actually make sure that it's going well. And again, as you can see, it's been 10 minutes since Claude's been doing it with 17,000 tokens. But again, this would be a higher type of version that I would do, so it would take me a little bit more time to do it. Usually on a call, we would use the lower input one on the effort side, because otherwise it takes a lot of time for us to pretty much just go ahead and actually launch it. So I would want it to be something very quick that I can show to them, that I can run, that I can use, that I can set it up in a way so it's actually already usable for them within that call. So without further ado, again, what I would tell you to do is really, if you are looking at a way to have something set up in a similar way for your sales calls, and want experience on how I do this on a call, instead of just hearing about it, simply apply through a link in the description below. I will show you everything. I will show you how we do it and how we set it up in a way. And from there on out, we will show you live how we do it, how we do the connection part, how we do the sales part, how we set up everything pretty much on this. And the landing page is now complete, as you can see here. So it's a calm cat method. This is how it looks like. This is an HTML, so that would mean that I would have to copy the pretty much like open it in Finder, and this would be like the thing that is built. Now again, in order for me to host this, it would be something that I would have to import in Netlify, but again, it would be like a page that I would pretty much just go ahead and use and be able to use, so I can like export it and I can use it pretty much, and then I can open it in, for example, I can open it in if I want to do it in, for example, Google Chrome for them, I can actually set it up in a way that it's working. So I can have, for example, the path here. I can go here, and it would open it up already, and boom, there you have it, the calm cat method, right? There we go. So this is the landing page. Again, it took a little bit more time because it's already in a higher effort prompting, but this is how it would look, right? So I prompted this live right now. This looks like something they could already start using, like pretty much just already start using, right? So it's just so simple, but you gotta know how to do these things. And when you know how to do these things, it's gonna save you a ton of time, make it easier for you, get things live for them, get things done. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment. If you have any questions, I'll go ahead and help you. Hope this was valuable again for you. And again, as I said, if you want to experience it live as well to how we do it with your business, go ahead and book a call in down below, because I can clarify and I can tell you no one is doing sales like this right now. So if you are one of the people that knows how to do this and all the other things that we know how to do as well, you're going to have an edge in the market and you're going to outrun all of your competitors. So if you want to do that, book the link. If not, keep on watching the videos. See you in the next one. Ciao.